But there was a guy that used to take my own brush, my wave brush, hairbrush, and beat me with it. He used to take my brush from me and beat my knees and hit me on the legs with it and then give it back to me. I was very scared. What's up, Fortress Dwellers? It's Manny Brandon back with Manny's Fitness Fortress, the citadel of power. Today, guys, I'm going to tell you how I went from being a foster child in the foster system to a champion bodybuilder. All that coming up right now. This video was recorded the day before Labor Day. Hope all you guys are enjoying your holiday and just continue having a nice, safe, and peaceful weekend. So please, I want to thank you guys for subscribing, liking, and sharing and commenting in advance and following my journey. So my name is Manny Brandon. For those of you that are new to the channel or don't know my backstory, I was adopted. I was born in Philadelphia, have no knowledge of Philadelphia because I was an infant right before I was placed in foster care. So my foster family was in Williamstown, New Jersey. All right, now in foster system, you can become adopted or you can remain a foster child. So I was a foster child where it was more advantageous for my foster parents to keep me in that title instead of becoming fully adopted, but it's very similar. So my foster mother, my parents, were old school. They were from down south, very loving. I'm very disciplined. Like I said, I was born in Philly, but I was placed in a foster care in Williamstown, New Jersey. So being that situation, I never met my adult parents, never met my blood relatives, never met my birth parents. I just received information about some time had passed after it happened that my mother had passed, and my blood father, my natural father, there was never any location revealed for him, so I never met him, never knew where he was. But growing up in foster care was, it's not like all the horror stories you hear, but wasn't back then anyway. Never meeting my parents, I always had questions, but I was never one of those people that never stayed, depressed or worrisome or had no sense of direction. I was always a motivated child, always into sports, very athletic and stuff like that. But in my elementary years in school, starting out, there was a lot of bullying going on, and I was picked on naturally a lot as a kid. As a kid, I was very muscular, but I just wasn't very big. I was kind of skinny muscular. So I used to go on the school bus, and there was a group of guys that I thought were really cool, but they were kind of intimidating. Later on, a few of them actually ended up being, at that point, I thought friends, but they're just people I associated with. But there was a guy that used to take my own brush, my wave brush, hairbrush, and beat me with it. He used to take my brush from me and beat my knees and hit me on the legs with it and then give it back to me. I was very scared. I would just try to get along and just try to be connected with the guys and hang out with them and be a part of them, but they didn't want me a part of their group. So anything I said that was funny or anything, or try to connect with them, they didn't interact with me. They didn't want anything really to do with me being a part of their group. So I was picked on a lot as a child. But like I said, I was always very athletic. And at one point I talked to my school counselor, and he said, listen, after a couple months, he said, listen, get involved in something. Why don't you start working out? Give yourself more confidence and stuff like that. So I said, wow, okay, working out. So I did that. I started working out in the gym, staying behind the school weight room, which was my gym at the time. And little by little, over the next couple of months and into the next year, I started developing, my body started developing, I started gaining more mass, getting bigger, and with that size came a little bit more confident. Okay, not in the sense where I wanted to go get revenge or beat anybody up, but I just felt better about myself, and it just allowed me to connect with people more and not be so timid in a lot of other, areas of my life. So I worked out really, really hard in the gym of the high school weight room, and I just really started developing, and then I started gaining the attention of other guys that like to work out, and even part of the football squad. So I ended up joining a marching band and doing some other group things, and that was kind of considered nerdy. I actually got picked on for that. But after that, in high school, I just said, you know what? Finally, I started running track, cross country, and hanging out with more athletes, and I eventually joined the football team. So, being on the football team, I garnered a lot of other athlete friends, and I started getting really strong, much stronger, much more athletic, much more confident. And the guys on my bus that I rode to school with, they eventually had one of their members come to me and say, "Manny, so-and-so is afraid of you now. He's not mess with you. You should go beat him up. You're bigger now." That was never my intention or my desire, but it did feel good to see that they respected me, and that they would take a moment of pause before trying to pick on me or do something that I might not react the same way that I used to react. So it was good to feel more confident and not to have to worry about people just pushing me over and just considering me like some kind of weakling or being laughed at. So that was really good. But into football, had a great summer training camp. I was, Rocky and all those other movies that were out, I was motivated by them. So I was doing workouts outside of my normal football training, connected with a lot of guys. I became one of the strongest guys in the football squad. People started hanging around with me and working out with me and asking me to work in and asking to hang around with me and asking to work out with me. And that felt really good. And, I got so much attention and I made so much progress. I actually entered my first bodybuilding contest at 16. The junior Mr. Teenage America, no, the Teenage Mr. New Jersey. That's what it was, the Teenage Mr. New Jersey. And guys, I placed second place in my first bodybuilding contest at 16. Yes, I placed second place in my very first bodybuilding contest at the age of 16. Second place. And it was surreal. The experience was surreal. I was pumping to a club song and the crowd was going crazy. That's when bodybuilding was really popular back then. And I felt like a superstar, a movie star, because when I got off the stage and walked down, people started swarming me, asking for autographs, taking pictures, and I loved that what I was experiencing. I loved that, it's not just the attention, but the fact that somebody, accepted and appreciated and loved the work that I put into my body and was willing to pay money to be entertained. I love that. So that really boosted my motivation. Entered a couple more contests, teenage contests, NPC open contests, natural contests, and I've always been natural, even though I've entered natural contests and open. So it was amazing. I ended up going to college, to Kutztown University. When I was looking at their brochure, the main thing that inspired me to go to Kutztown was they had a powerlifting team. All right, and I'm like, damn, I want to go there and do powerlifting. That's right up my alley. I'll be in, Pennsylvania, up in the mountains, great scenery, new people. When I enrolled in college and I actually got there was no powerlifting squad. It was either disbanded or discontinued or put on pause or something, but what they did have there was a crazy, hardcore, old school gym with the round dumbbells and the Flintstone. It was amazing. The weight and the equipment that I needed was right there, go to the next level in my physique. The thing about college though, the two major pros and cons, a world of education waiting at your fingertips, but also a world of temptation, with women. I'm going to fast forward this. I basically spent 2 years at that institution. All right, and I took actually a couple semesters when I came back home to a community college for some extra credits toward a totally different major. But there were so many, you know, just beautiful women and distractions there that I was more invested in, I think, you know, pretty attractive women, you know, than my bodybuilding career, right? I still learned a lot from the courses that I did take, but I was so invested in so many different things. I wasn't really concentrating on bodybuilding, so I didn't acquire the progress that I should have had at that point. But when I did come home after coming out after 2.5 years, I got the equivalent of an associate's degree. I applied for a couple of jobs, got a job with a computer packing firm, because my major was computer science, but I did not actually get into programming. So coming back home, getting into some really high-profile jobs. I ended up working for PSNG, Raytheon. Had a lot of short-term jobs that were like 6 months to a year or a year and change before I ended up working at the post office. Mind you, in this time, I competed in about 13 different bodybuilding contests. I had access and met a lot of people that were magazine editors and photographers, and my attention was still scattered to the point where I did not take advantage of everything that I should have concerning bodybuilding and the whole lifestyle. I would have been so much further along than I am now. But being that, having said that, there were so many people that I didn't even know at the time in high school, in college, reaching out to me, and new people from venues in my current circle that were reaching out to me that were really motivated, and they looked up to me for an adopted child, you know, being second in Mr. Natural New Jersey, Mr. Teenage New Jersey, being a bodybuilding prodigy, being an amazing athlete all around, cross-country, track, football. There's a lot of people that looked up to me, and they saw motivation and they got inspiration out of me being an adopted child that went into this transition of becoming an athlete, going and seeking help to get more motivation, along with applying and executing the advice that I was given. That's another one thing too, guys. When you get advice, you have to execute. You just can't listen to it. You got to do something with it. So I inspired a lot of people as a bodybuilder in teenage years. I inspired a lot of people in high school, as a football athlete, as a, you know, just a physical specimen. And to this day, some of my biggest supporters and followers and people I inspire are still on Facebook right now that, you know, remember me in high school, you know, college, whatever. But it's just surreal to think that so many people push negative, you know, information out here that they make you think that where you start is where you got to finish. You can take whatever origin you have and turn that into a dynasty. Always remember that. I eventually ended up competing in a top-level NPC tournament. Met top bodybuilding pros like Paul Dillette, Chris Cormier. I ran into them several times. And just accumulated a nice amount of trophies. Had some other modeling and acting avenues open up at the time, like I said, that I didn't take advantage of, that I should have. So I'm getting a run back right now, which is I'm so blessed and grateful for. But at that time, I didn't take advantage of all the resources that I had at my disposal. I didn't know how good I had it. I was like a movie star waiting and wait. Like I was like a superstar with the resources that I just didn't know how to use them or to be serious about using them at that time. So being an adopted child, the caseworker, they was really influential in letting me, this is around 14 years of age, 15 years of age, let me meet my natural uncle. And this is kind of hard for a lot of people, but it didn't really affect me that much. I went there and spent time with him in Philadelphia. His wife was my aunt by marriage. He had no real interest in getting to know me or having me in his life. Now this is a 14-year-old kid now, just playing with Transformers, and that's it. You know, like no nasty attitude. I was not a problematic child. No cutting up or being bad. We just didn't want to add, you know, another person into the family tree or whatever. But it didn't really affect me, so I never really had a relationship with him. And to this day, we have not spoken since. But I never let that affect me from not being motivated and staying motivated to go after my own goals. Because someday I do know that we will cross paths again. But like Robert De Niro said in, you know, Heat, or Al Pacino, our paths may cross again. But when we do meet, I will be a totally different person. And you will have to decide if you're willing to put me down. No, I love that movie though. But yeah, beyond that, guys, the college area in my life, the post-college season of my life, ended up getting a really good job. Ended up working for PSNG energy company, and ultimately I ended up at the post office where I am now, where it gives me the ability and the resources to invest in my YouTube and to tell my story, to motivate and educate others about health, nutrition, wellness, and mental strength, you know, because we need that, especially in this day and age. I have a very good friend who is a content creator, a hair salon owner, philanthropist, and she works with organizations that deal and advocate for adoptive children, foster kids. And she has some foster kids herself, and I think that's amazing. It's just incredible how we can impact others' lives in a positive way, you know, with just the life we live. Sometimes your life can be a testimony to someone who is not only disenfranchised, disadvantaged, lower income level, limited, resources, but you can positively impact other people's lives, you know, that you may not know otherwise. So, you know, on my journey now, my goal now is to continue competing in bodybuilding, continue putting up fire content, continue my training in the powerlifting or the power bodybuilding vein, you know, connecting with other influencers and fitness, you know, people that are involved in all facets of fitness, health, and wellness, and just constantly pushing more information out there to keep motivating people and inspiring others. Let you know that where you start isn't necessarily going to be where you finish. So being a foster child can have great and positive outcomes, and it will, because I wasn't in my most ideal you know, surroundings. But when you can put yourself in that spot, you know, just take a little bit that you might get and use those resources to take a little bit of resources you have and turn them into larger resources. But in essence, make lemonade out of lemons. You can do it, okay? So I want to inspire everybody, and just please, everybody, if you're going through rough times, rough patches, stay inspired, stay motivated, don't give up. You know, get a support group, whether it's professional or you know, a friendly support group with associates or friends in the area that you might be interested in, that you know that can keep you honest and keep you motivated. Just do it. Don't think twice, and stay on that road. You know, keep your eye on the ball, keep your eye on the prize. Where you start is not necessarily going to be where you finish. Constantly upgrade. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Boom. Are you ready?